guys, and welcome to the TBV show. Hopefully everybody is doing well. And yeah, man, we are here for episode 1 of the TBV show, which we will be bringing on the Bayern View YouTube channel every single week, 6 p.m. UK time on a Sunday. So Sunday, 6 p.m. UK time, there will be one dropping every single week. So yeah, bless up to everybody. Something different to bring to the channel, to boost the channel a little bit, and but yeah, bless up. The first episode is going to be about me. I am the host, so bless up to everybody. But yeah, man, first episode about me. I have asked the people on the Bayern View, my beautiful community that we have built over these last couple of years, to ask me questions, and we'll get into that and so on. But yeah, man, let's talk about me. So yeah, man, I live in the UK, in a little city in the southwest of the UK, of England. I've lived here all my life. I've lived in the city all my life. And yeah, man, chill guy. Others might say otherwise if you've watched some of the fan cams and otherwise, but I'm just very passionate with my team, so that just is what it is. But yeah, man, I live with, in this place that we live in right now, with my little one, who's 8, and my missus, and been with her for 9 years. So I'm not going to go into too much detail with certain things, because I do still want to keep certain things not necessarily off public, but at the same time, private. So hopefully you can respect that. I'm not really with this whole thing where you put the kids on YouTube channels and shit like that. That's not me. If others do it, then that's cool, but that's personally not me. At the end of the day, I don't want, if I was to do something stupid, which I'm not planning on doing, but if I was to do something stupid and get cancelled and everything, I don't want her to have to deal with what I've done. Do you know what I mean? Which, to be fair, I'm not planning on doing anything stupid, but you get my point. I still wouldn't want to be responsible for, the downfall or whatever. You get the point. But yeah, man, bless up. Hopefully everyone's doing well. It's kind of weird trying to do this TVV show without anybody guest. So yeah, man, I'm just obviously talking to the camera. So yeah, man, the fact that we've hit 5,000 subscribers, to me, is bonkers. Never thought we would hit it, but I don't know what it is. I've got this thing in me where, if I want something, I'm gonna get it. Never thought we'd hit 100, we did. Never thought we would hit 500, we did. And then when we hit that 1,000, that was like, that shit was bonkers to me, man. Like, generally it was bonkers. And yeah, it's peak, absolutely peak. So yeah, craziness, absolutely craziness. So yeah, man, yeah, I want to obviously hit 10k this year if we can. Probably going to be hard to do now, considering we're only on 5.1, I think, but either way, we'll hit it when we hit it. But yeah, man, I like to have goals to try and get to. But yeah, I did ask for some questions just to, go more into stuff. So yeah, I live in the UK. I don't have any connection to Germany or the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich, or anything like that. Why don't I support an English club? I don't support an English club because I never had anybody not there for me, because that sounds sad, but like, I grew up in a family that didn't watch football. If anything was to come up, it would be like, oh, we're watching England because of the World Cup or this or that, you know what I mean? But both my granddads are fans of a Premier League team, but they're both like new like look at the results rather than watch the game. I think they used to watch the games back in their days, when they were younger, but not anymore. So realistically, I could have been a Chelsea fan. One of my granddads is a Chelsea fan, the other's a Man United fan. But yeah, I wasn't really into it. To be fair though, every single time I used to wake up, every time I used to go to around my nan and granddad's house, there was always this man. Now that sounds mad, but let me finish. There was always this like picture of this man, and I never knew who it was until I got older. And it's actually quite funny because he was always, like, the picture stayed there for many years through going up to my adult life, and it was Eric Cantona. And it's kind of crazy because if I would have known that, then obviously I would probably be a Man United fan and not a Bayern fan. So it's crazy how life works. But I dabbled being not dabbled being a United fan, but obviously my best friend Taylor, he's been on the channel many times. Maybe we'll bring him to the TBV show one day. I'm sure he's got some mad stories about me and him in school and so on. But like I dabbled in some sense, if you want to say, because of him, and he's my best friend, and and he supported a football club I didn't know what it was, and so on and so forth. So, but yeah, the reason I don't have an English team is generally because I wasn't a football child. Like when your dad takes you to the game or your granddad takes you to a game or whatever. I didn't have that. Instead, my uncle got me into WWE, and that's why I'm a massive WWE fan. Always have been. I went off of it for a little bit, but in general, always have been. I remember watching the VHS tapes, I believe is how to say that, in the video recorder. I'm 27, so I'm not too old, but I remember video recorders and so on and so forth. And I remember, having all of the DVD, they're not DVDs, they're videos. What am I on about? Putting them in and watching the old ones with like Hulk Hogan in it, watching all of the WrestleManias and I watched a lot of ECW as well, which probably shouldn't have at that point in time, but I did. Yeah, man, I absolutely love wrestling. I still do to this day. And yeah, I've watched way more wrestling matches and shows than football games, and I've been watching football now for a long time also. So yeah, man, John Cena and all of that. I remember going to the shows with my mum, my stepdad, and my aunt. I remember going to one of the shows, and then the three of us then went to some shows as well. I remember I remember going to Earl Court, and I remember the people like banging the seats and so on. I thought I was gonna fucking die, because that was like my first ever time going to a wrestling event. Other than like the ones in like the local city where they come over, and it's actually quite funny. I say that because some of the wrestlers I actually seen when they come to the city, to the city we live in, and it's just like a local wrestling thing. Was actually Sheamus before he was big, and it was actually Drew McIntyre before he was big, which is actually kind of crazy. That I seen them, when they were on the Indies and so on. And again, it wasn't a big show. It wasn't like a New Japan or an AEW or anything like that, because obviously AEW wasn't around then. I'm not sure about New Japan. But yeah, man, it was, I remember going to that first one, and then I can't remember. And then I think we went to one of the second shows, and I was up in the rafters watching it. And then we actually got floor tickets. And I remember, in the end, obviously not all of the wrestlers that lose go up the ramp and go. Normally they go to the side, and I remember seeing Big Show come past me, and I was like, oh my word, that guy is freaking humongous. And I remember the Undertaker coming out, and obviously his pyro used to be fire that would go like whoosh, 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 like so on. And I remember feeling the fucking heat of that. It felt like a fucking marshmallow being burnt, bro. So yeah, and yeah, that was basically me. That was basically, my thing. I love wrestling. Obviously had over 200 wrestling figures. I don't have them anymore, but I used to. Wrestling posters, everything was wrestling. Like my bedding was wrestling, my room was wrestling, everything. I absolutely was wrestling mad, to the point where I actually remember having a big bunk bed, which, if you don't know what that is basically a bed underneath and a bed on top. And this one was like a big blue metal framed one. And it was actually quite cool because the bottom, you could make it into a bed, but you could also make it into like a sofa. And I remember, obviously my bed was on the top. I remember jumping off one day. Someone come and stayed round. I can't remember who it was, but they stayed round when I was living with my mum. And the mattress was on the floor, because obviously they stayed around, and that's where they were, even though the bed was there. I don't know, don't ask. And I remember my stepdad coming in to check on me, and I remember jumping from the top of my bunk bed, getting him into what you'd actually call a guillotine, which was so funny. I remember that back then, and he was fucking pissed. He was so pissed at me because figure the kid jumping from a bunk bed, grabbing someone's neck again, and like tap, and he's like, "Fuck, get off me, you prick." So yeah, I remember that. And he wasn't going to tap. The only thing he was going to fucking do is punch me, probably, which he didn't. But in general, he was pissed. But I was mad into wrestling, absolutely mad into wrestling. Like fucking wrestling teddy bears and shit. Fucking doing like RKOs and shit. I remember having a trampoline and doing shit like that as well. So, yeah, man, that was basically my life, Then, going into my not teens, but I started watching Bayern. I started watching them before, like the Champions League versus Chelsea. That was one of my first games because it was actually on ITV at the time, I think. That or Sky Sports. I remember having Sky, and I remember telling people at school, like, we've got Sky, and back then that was a big thing. But my stepdad loved having TV, and he worked his ass off to get it, so we had it, and yeah, man, I definitely benefited from having that in that sense. But yeah, no, like, I remember watching that game, and I just remember this bold guy. It's quite funny because my granddad's bold, and I'm going to be bold one day. There's a reason I wear a hat, put it that way. My genetics going through my dad's side, who I don't speak about, not my stepdad, my actual father, my biological dad, and fucking, yeah, man, I don't know what it was, but I just resonated with the bold guy, and yeah, man, watching him, and then it was all about him because he missed, and down on his knees and so on and so forth. And I was like, okay, I don't really understand what's going on. I understand it's football, but I don't get the rules. I don't really understand what's going on. I remember watching, obviously, the blue team. I didn't know who they were. Obviously, I could read, but I didn't know who they were. Winning, obviously, it was Chelsea. And I remember going to school, and we actually had a couple of Chelsea fans in the school, and they were like high-fiving and fucking dabbing each other up, and it was like, yeah, it's like celebrating. And I remember being like, I'm not excited for them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about that blue team, in my brain. But at the same time, it was like, I don't care about them, but I like the fact, that guy. And then I didn't think anything of it. And then I remember the season after that, again, I thought the Champions League was like Premier League. I had no clue that there were freaking Spanish League, Italian League, so on. Again, remember, I'm a wrestling child. Which is actually kind of crazy because if that kid back then would have now seen this one, being so football mad, it would have been so mad. You know what I mean? I would have been like, who the fuck's that? But yeah, man, I remember it coming up, and I remember watching the Bayern game, and I was like, yes, that bold guy is my favourite. Again, didn't know his name or anything like that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this. And then I remember it saying Bayern Munich. I didn't call it Munich, I called it Munchen. Munchen, I believe that's what I called it. Bayern München. And yeah, I just watched them. Now, I wasn't crazy into it to the point where I would have watched a game or got my mum or stepdad to take me to a game or anything like that. It was more of like, when that's on, I'm going to watch it. Not, I don't even remember if I had a phone back then. No, I was in secondary school, so I would have. But yeah, like, it wasn't like searching up when the next game's going to be or anything like that. It was nothing to do with that. But it was like, I remember watching them play, and then I caught every single game that season. And I mean Champions League games, and they were just destroying teams, and I'm like, okay. And then again, I remember that bold guy, and I remember watching them versus Barca, and I remember Thomas Muller getting in front of Jordi Alba, and Jordi Alba fouled like a fucking bitch, or a fish, whatever you want to say. And Iron Robin just cut in and scored the goal against Victor Valdez and so on, and it was like craziness. And actually, it's quite funny because Barca was actually my team at that point on PES, because I wasn't into FIFA. I didn't even know what FIFA was at that point. I was a Pro Evolution Soccer kid because it was a cheap game, evidently because it was shit. But yeah, I remember the playing that on my PlayStation. Yeah, Barcelona was the team that I played with, and I remember watching Robin do that to them, and I'm like, yeah, that's the guy I'm going to follow. So on and so forth. And then I watched, again, like I said, I watched the whole season in the Champions League, obviously not the Bundesliga, because again, I didn't even know the Bundesliga was a thing. And then I remember watching the final, which is so annoying because I was so, like, obviously it's if buts and maybes and so on and so forth, but if I would have been a football child, obviously I wouldn't have supported them, but like, I so wish I would have tried to get Champions League tickets, man, because it was in freaking Wembley. Like, we're only about an hour and a bit away from London, Like, that would have been so sick to go and watch live, but I just wasn't into it. So it's like, whatever. But yeah, man, I remember watching them. Thomas, I want to say, was it Thomas Muller that scored in that final? Or was it Mario Mandzukic? It was someone. Someone scored. I can't think off the top of my head who it was. And then I remember Dante kicking freaking, I think it was Royce, giving away a penalty. I'm like, you idiot, what are you doing? And then I remember them scoring. Gundo scored, and that's where my hate for Dortmund come. I was like, you fucking idiot, Dante. I actually didn't call him Dante because I didn't know his name at that point. I called him Afro. I'm like, you fucking idiot, Afro. Yeah, fucking, obviously then Robin scored, and I was like, is that fucking guy again? So yeah, again, Robin is what got me into Bayern. I know a lot of you guys are asking me about Bayern, so yeah. How did you become a Bayern fan? There we go. Hopefully I've answered your question, Andrew, bro. So yeah, there's that. Lewandowski or Kane, there is no if, buts, and maybes about that question. There's not even a comparison. Lewandowski all day, every day. And again, you got to remember, when I grew up, obviously I would have watched Mario Mandzukic, Pizarro, and I would have watched Gomez. But realistically, Lewandowski was the striker I grew up on, if that makes any sense. So yeah, Lewandowski is the best striker of all time for me, without a doubt. Even though Barcelona have made him into a pussy nowadays, but hey, it is what it is. Someone asked me, is Musiala the best dribbler in the world, or is the world the best dribbler of Musiala? Okay, yeah, Musiala is the best dribbler in the world right now, I would say, yeah. So yeah, man, 100%. So yeah, there's that. Big up to Michael. Michael actually asked me a question. He said, my favourite Bayern manager. Well, when we won the treble, the Champions League again, it was obviously Jupp Heynckes, and I remember them lifting him up and throwing him and so on and so forth. So yeah, Jupp Heynckes would be my favourite coach. I obviously remember watching Ancelotti. I remember watching through Pep and so on, but yeah, no, 1000%, it would have been Jupp Heynckes, without a doubt. Bayern win 3 Champions Leagues in a row, but your legs give out for life. Deal? No, I need my legs, brother. Thank you for the question, but that was a bit mad. And I don't need them to win 3 Champions Leagues in a row. We've already done it before. Even though I would actually like to win 3, because then that would put us on 9. Favorite fast food chain? I wasn't really into fast food too much. You would say otherwise by the size of me. But like, the only thing we ever really got was McDonald's. And that was because it was in the local town, in the city centre. So yeah, other than that, obviously then KFC and so on and so forth. My favourite though, my favorite, probably Five Guys right now, to be honest with you. I like their cheeseburger. Obviously their chips are freaking amazing. And then the missus, we normally share a shake. She normally gets the Biscoff shake, and then I get a refill. And I just, normally, to be fair, I take a cup. I don't normally pay for the drink, to be fair to you, because it's so fucking expensive. But yeah, the odd time that we do get the drink, we normally actually get the cup of water for the little one. She drinks it, and then I normally drink, go up to the machine and take whatever. So yeah, there's that. To be fair, that is so expensive. Like, it's like nearly £17 for a burger, and that's not even the chips included. So yeah, hella expensive. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, the reason I asked for the questions was because obviously then we can, things you want to know about me, and I can actually get into, like, go into detail and stories and so on, because again, I'm not talking to a guest. It's generally just me in here. So yeah, there's that. Who is your biggest role model in football? In football, I think you have to have the role model of Cristiano Ronaldo because of the hard work. He's fit in athletic ways to, like, the guy's body now is freaking insane. You know what I mean? So yeah, his hard work, without a doubt. Conor McGregor's rise in the UFC. without a doubt. Saying and believing in yourself and doing it. Obviously, his is a bit different to what I do. I'm believing in myself that I can, get the subscribers and do the videos and, do my passion. And obviously he was knocking people out. So there's a difference. But yeah, if you grind your way without a doubt, you will get where you need to be. But there'll be ups and downs. There will be ups and downs. There'll be beefs that don't need to happen. It just is what it is, unfortunately. Biggest role model other than that, though, definitely looked up to my stepdad. He was the father figure in my life, so definitely looked up to him without a doubt. My granddad as well, both of them. Trying to think sports-wise, I definitely looked up to Robin, but it wasn't like he was just like that was my guy. You know what I mean? And I generally would have said probably John Cena as well. You know what I mean? The fact that he was always nice. Obviously, I didn't understand heels and faces and good guys and bad guys. I didn't get it. But, when you actually deep it now, yeah, that's probably why. Someone said your city, your address, your house, your street, and your credit card information. So it's no, definitely not. Ansar asked me Liv, Morgan, or Roxanne. Both. But Roxanne, I've been a fan of Roxanne for a long time. Luca asked me favorite Bayern match of all time. You can go back and watch for decades. The Dortmund game, the Dortmund Champions League game. I could watch that over and over again. On paper and performance, the PSG is the best team, undoubtedly. So defeating this team is a huge task. And so he's just basically gone on. Okay. There we go. It wasn't even a question. It was more of a statement. I think I've read all of the comments. So yeah, let's talk about young life for me. So yeah, man. Obviously, I'd go to school, do what you do at school and all that bullshit. Come back, play with my wrestlers, and when I was older, I'd play video games and loved Halo, loved the campaigns on most games. Favorite video games are probably Mario. I love Mario. I remember getting my DS and my Game Boy and so on and so forth. I remember my Game Boy, it was silver and it had like this tattoo, like tribal tattoo thing on it, which it actually was a sticker. But I remember playing Zelda on that, which I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, I'm not gonna lie, but I remember playing it. And what else? I remember going on a holiday. Most of the holidays that I went on when I was a child or younger was in the UK. We go on like caravan holidays. That's what a lot of people do in the UK, where you just go like an hour, maybe 2, maybe 3 hours tops, to wherever, and you just spend either a weekend there or a week there. And I did that most of the time. I used to take my great nan to. Well, I didn't, obviously, but I was brought along. My mum and I would take them take her to thingy, so that was cool. And I miss her, to be fair to you. So yeah, rest in peace to her, without doubt. Yeah, man, I remember going on those holidays abroad. I remember going to Andorra for a ski holiday. Why the fuck I was dragged? Well, I was dragged onto it because I was invited, but yeah, I don't know why I went on that one. It was a bit weird, and I remember crying my eyes out. And I was really young by this point, before anyone's like, this was yesterday. No, it wasn't. I was super young. And I remember wanting to take an icicle home, because there was like this really cool, like sharp icicle I wanted to take home. And yeah, obviously it would have mounted. Thinking about it now, but back then, I wanted to take it home and I couldn't. So yeah, I remember that holiday. I remember going. The only thing my mum and my granddad took me to Disneyland Paris. Now the only thing I remember, don't know why I'm having a voice crack in the middle of what I'm saying. The only thing I remember though was actually the Dumbo ride. I don't know why that's the only thing I remember. But yeah, that was the only thing I remember. And then the other main holiday we went on was actually to America when I was 10. So what am I? I'm 27. So 17 years ago. Fuck me sideways, saying that makes me feel sick. But yeah, like in that, we were obviously, I was 10 and I went with my my granddad, my aunt, and my mum. My stepdad couldn't go because he was stupid when he was younger and got some like, he wasn't a criminal, but he got like driving without a license and some stupid shit like that. So obviously America back then, you got to remember this was back in what, I can't remember. I can't even think what 2000 and what. I was 10, so I was born in 98. So what, 2008? Is that right? Take 2 years away. Yeah, I think 2008 was when we went. So long time ago. I'm sure they're still strict now, but not as strict. So yeah, he didn't come along because of that. And I remember that holiday. I can actually remember most things from that holiday, going to, Magic Kingdom, going to, Disney. I remember we went to, is it Epcot? I think it was in Florida. And I actually went to watch an NBA game. We went Christmas time. And I can't remember off the top of my head who it was against, but my granddad knew people. Don't ask me how he knew them, but he knew them. And they were my granddad's friends to me. But they had a villa over in Florida. So we did. That's not where we stayed. We stayed in Disney Park, Disney Hotel Park thing. But I remember they took us to an NBA game. And yeah, man, it was sick. I remember going to it and it was like dun 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 dun, and then obviously the mascot come out and shooting shirts and so on. It was weird, but it was cool. You know what I mean? Other than that, it was just like the Disney parks and so on. What was it that we went to? I can't remember what it was. Was it Disney? I can't remember what it's called, but it had like this thing where you pay, and it's like an all-day arcade, and it's like four or five floors just full of arcade machines. Can't think of what it's called. It's called Disney something. But I remember going to that. I remember going shopping. And obviously I was wrestling mad. So when we went to Walmart, I remember finding wrestling pajamas, wrestling tops, wrestlers. And I remember going to this toy shop and I got these like little mini wrestlers and so on. So yeah, I remember that. That was cool. What else? Other than that, there's not really much else. Obviously, life then went on. Whatever. Met the missus, love of my life, love her to pieces now. Again, don't speak too much about her because I want to keep her off camera. Not that I'm ashamed of her or anything like that. She has actually made that comment a couple of times, like, you only don't want me on camera because you're ashamed. Like, she's fine. She will come on camera. I just don't want her on camera because, to me, she's mine. Does that make sense? And I'm just, this is me. You know what I mean? So if I say your mouth shit and someone says I'm going to kill you, for example, you know what I mean? I don't want them to say stupid shit about her or hurtful things about my kid or anything like that. So that's the reason I keep them on. But yeah, I remember meeting her and straight away it just clicked. And yeah, man, I remember, bro. I remember what that feeling's like. Like I've been in a relationship before that, a long distance relationship with one of my friend's sisters. Yes, you heard me correctly. But yeah, that was like a long distance relationship. She lived in London and I lived, obviously where I live about an hour away, and I don't drive or anything like that. So, and then obviously when I got out of that relationship, I then eventually found my missus, through friends and so on and so forth. People say I stole her from a friend, but whatever. Yeah, Mr. Steal Your Girl, that's what Taylor used to say to me, this prick. It was so annoying at the time, but back so annoying at the time, but when I think about it now, it's not annoying. But yeah, man, more funny, or if anything. But yeah, I've been with her ever since. I think going in on January is our anniversary. I think it'll be 10 years, which is bonkers to me. I'm going to try not to get emotional in this video. I don't want to get emotional in this video, but yeah, she does mean absolutely fucking everything to me. Through some bullshit, not speaking to parents and not speaking to loved ones and so on because of just bullshit that's going on in life, which is life. But yeah, she means fucking everything to me. She really does. And then being with her for a little bit, and then we had the little one, which was tough, man. So tough. Thinking about it, should never have done it. I don't regret having her. I love her to pieces. She's literally a mini me. But yeah, we were young and dumb. Definitely should have, tried to go on holidays around Europe and so on before with the missus. But hey, it is what it is. Life is life. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't change any of it because it's my life. You know what I mean? But yeah, other than that, obviously, like I said, some bullshit's gone on in my life personally, off camera, not the beef on YouTube or whatever. But yeah, man, and loads of bullshit happened, and it fucked me over to the point where I'm like, mental health wise and so on and so forth. And I do struggle with mental health every day. My can't even speak. My thing is try and get through day by day. I love having something to look forward to. So when we do have our holidays booked, it's like, okay, in my brain, mentally clock, it's like, okay, I know the date, I know this, I know that, we'll get to that point, But yeah, man, just a bunch of bullshit, to be honest with you. I'm on tablets for it. So yeah, man, try and get through day by day. And yeah, it just is what it is. So yeah, I don't really need to go too in depth for it. But it's depression and anxiety is what I struggle with. So, when people say that, it's not real, best believe, just put it this way. You say it's not real, that's fine. Just don't ever go for it, because, I remember friends going through stuff and I was like, yeah, whatever, mate. Because I didn't believe it either. And then when it hit me, fuck me sideways. I was crying my eyes out. Yeah, me, a couple of years ago, crying my eyes out. The feeling of anxiety is insane. Like, the fact that you can get a bad thought in your head and it take over your whole body, to me, is nuts. And it's fucking scary. I never knew what it was. And I know family members who have struggled from it. I still do, I think. But, yeah, crazy how, one thing can take over your whole body, you know what I mean? And, yeah, I can just think about it now and I can feel it. It's not rising, but just feel it going through your body, and it's like this pulsation. And not in a good way, trust me. So yeah, man, I struggle with that. I'm actually, again, I don't even know what my tablets are. I haven't fucking binned them. Oh no, they're up there. So yeah, I'm on tablets every day for it. So yeah, put that on, make that as you will, whatever. But yeah, man, I just try to live my life day by day. That basically is my thing, and that's probably why I get passionate about stuff. And when people cuss my club out and so on, I go for you, or go for them, whatever you want to say, because I live my life through football. Probably shouldn't. I've had counselling with therapists and so on, and it worked a little bit, but I'm a bottler, man. Bottler, not Arsenal bottler. Fuck Arsenal. more bottler in the sense of I bottle things up. Always done it. Men do it a lot. I'm not trying to make it out like I'm something special. Definitely not. But yeah, men do it a lot, and it's peak. So yeah, man. Still struggling with that today. I take tablets every single day. I also take Actimals every day, which, if you don't know, you might have seen them. It's this thing. You might have seen it on my stream a couple of times. It's like a yogurt, because I struggle heavily with IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, which, just search it. I don't really want to go into detail. It's a bit disgusting. But yeah, man. So yeah, man, that's definitely hit me sideways in my eating habits. Basically, I'm a massive fuck up. That's how I see it. And that's why, when people on YouTube, or the beef, or people beefing with me online, or whatever, nothing will ever get to me because of what I've been through. And I'm not trying to be a sub story. Definitely not. I know that there's people in Africa and people around the world that don't have even fucking water, You know what I mean? I could go over and turn that tap on for half an hour and it would, fuck that, I could turn it on all night. The missus would be fucking fuming, but at the end of the day, it's not, the only thing that's going to matter is the fact that we're going to have to pay a little bit higher water bill, you know what I mean? So I'm very fortunate in that sense, but yeah, nothing can get to me, man. Not really, unless you go really personal with my family. Nothing can get to me because, like, like anyone that does do that, just getting straight banned, bro. I don't have this thing for second chances, bro. Straight banned. I'm not fucking around with it, you know. So yeah, that's personally how I see it. But yeah, man, like certain things I've been through in my life, you know what I mean, and so on and so forth. You know, the anxiety of, you know, the IBS and the anxiety of the depression and so on and so forth. It definitely is, and bear with me, I'm looking this way because I don't want to look dead in the eye of the camera. But, you know, the stuff like that, it definitely eats you up, but you've just got to try and, you know, go through it. And everybody has their dark days. I remember, you know, and I think one of the reasons I sleep quite a lot, I can sleep, literally, I could sleep all day. And the missus, like, I've gone to sleep normal time, let's say not now, because right now it's 4:22 in the morning when I'm recording this. 4:20, blaze. No, I'm joking. But no, like when I was going through my like really, really bad times. Right now, I'm okay. I'm okay at the moment. I'm looking forward to going on holiday. I've got the missus is off work now because her job's broken up for the holidays and all of that. So you know, she's around and so on and so forth. So I'm good now. But one thing that definitely needs to be said is when I was going through my really, really dark times, you know, I could go to sleep, let's say at 9 o'clock, wake up at 8. She'd go to work, the little one would go to school, so on and so forth. And I could sleep all day. And she's like, you just slept all night with me, pause. And then you could sleep all day. And that's my thing. I could just sleep and sleep and sleep and sleep. And I obviously want to sleep because of the darkness, you know what I mean? And because of what was in my head and so on and so forth. And, you know, that's why we took a little break from the Bayern View back then and so on and so forth. And yeah, man, dark times. But hey, it is what it is. Just know that if you are going through something, you know, if you're going through something now, you're going through something next week, next month, next year, there is always a way out. I'm still going through stuff right now in everyday life, but I don't feel like I felt then. Does that make any sense? So when they say, you know, there's always light at the end of the tunnel, I don't think I'm at the end of the tunnel right now, but I'm not back in the shadow, if that makes any sense. So yeah, man, I wasn't expecting this show to go deep, but in general, but yeah, let's move on, because you know I've gone personal and so on and so forth, but I don't want it to, you know, go too deep in that sense. But let's talk about why I made the channel. So the reason I made the channel, I remember watching the United stand. I remember watching AFTV, and obviously the lads from AFTV, like DT at the time, and Troops, and so on and so forth. And then remember people, you know, having their channels, and they were having their opinion. And I'm like, no one's really doing this for Bayern. Now, at the time, I didn't know that there was a Bayern Fan TV. I didn't know that there was a Bayern Now. I didn't know that there was, you know, these content creators. And I was like, what? Maybe I could do something like this. So, you know, it was actually kind of funny. It was actually round when Flex, you'll know him from the United View, or United View now. It was the United View, but it's now United View. And I remember him going from the United stand and whatever happened there, and him breaking up from that. And I remember him starting the thing, and my channel was originally the the Bayern Way. That was my original thing, but I couldn't have it. It wouldn't let me have it. So instead, I went with the Bayern View. But yeah, my main thing was, you know, no one really speaks like me. No one really is me. I am me, of course. And, you know, I've always wanted to be a YouTuber, from watching KSI and watching all of the Sidemen lads, and watching Tom Syndicate when he used to do his Minecraft Let's Play and so on. So I've been on YouTube for a long time. For a lot of my teenage years, probably even before that, I was trying to be a YouTuber. I remember, you know, I've had got to be at least 20 vlog channels, like different ones, that have had maybe like 5 videos on them or whatever. And I remember I vlogged so many things. And yeah, man, I just wasn't serious about it, and I wanted to be a gaming channel and so on and so forth. And then eventually I was like, you know what? I love football at this minute. Bayern is my team. Let me see if I can, do something with this whole Bayern thing. And, obviously, again, like I said, from coming up watching these people, I've always wanted to be a YouTuber, and give my view on it. But I wasn't the best at games. I'm still not the best at games. Like, I'm not the best at Fortnite. I'm not the best at FIFA. I'm not the best at Call of Duty. And again, this isn't putting myself down. This is fact. I am not the best. I was never the best in my year group at school or anything like that. Like, most of my friends, Taylor and Tyler, they're the close ones. They were both better than me at times, in the Call of Duty games and so on. Obviously, I could still do good, but they were better than me at that, and so on and so forth. So I was like, what's something I'm good at? And just, like, I'm passionate about football, so I want to make a channel. You know what I mean? And yeah, we made the Bayern View, and that's where you get the first video. And to be fair, when I actually made that video, I was in a dark time as well. But yeah, that was it's actually quite funny as well, because that kit that I was wearing didn't fit me. So, it was barely fucking fitting around my stomach and so on. But obviously in the video, you can't see it because of the way the camera's figured. So yeah, that if I was trying to put that kit on now, it would be so tight. But yeah, man, obviously we did that video, and then from then it was just videos after videos after videos after videos and so on and so forth. And then obviously we started doing live content as I found out about StreamYard. And then ever since it's just been the same. So yeah, the main reason is nobody speaks like me, and I want to give my opinion on my channel. And I'm obviously an English speaking channel. And if you don't know, most German people, probably from what, I don't know what year, I don't know when they learn in school, but let's say like school years to like 45, most of them probably can speak English. So that's why we get a lot of people, and we've got a lot of people on here. And I remember doing my first call-in show, and I remember Bo coming on. You might know him from the chat. Yeah, he doesn't come on the channel. He's only ever come on the channel once. And maybe it wasn't for him or whatever. And, I've never asked, and I never will ask. But yeah, man, I remember him coming on and talking, and I remember YouTube's coming on and talking. And I fucking love them. Love them guys. And I remember Beats, Bob, and I remember Ansar still around, but you know what I mean. And so on and so forth. And then we obviously then had Ryan on the channel, which ended badly and whatever, which we're not going to get into. But yeah, that just is what it is. And then obviously we had Zia on the channel eventually, and then obviously that's ended badly. And I can't really say much on it, to be honest with you. It's just a bunch of bullshit that's just whatever. But at the end of the day, he's going to have his opinion. His opinion's his opinion. I've tried to squish the beef. I don't want beef. I can't help myself at times. Don't get it twisted. But yeah, I don't want beef. But yeah, man, to be honest, all I really care about is the fact that Liam, who isn't really good at anything, didn't get good grades. You can see that I'm rambling at this point because I'm picking stuff off my bottle. Right, let me. Yeah, like the fact that I have a channel that has 5,000 subscribers on it, the fact that I have a channel that's made money from talking about my club is bonkers to me still to this day, where right now, and this video itself, it's going to make, I don't know what, but it will make some sort of money. It's crazy. It is bonkers. So yeah, man, my dream is just to have, I want to set up for my kids. My kids. So, maybe YouTube won't do that for me, but maybe there'll be something later in life that will do that for me, hopefully. Maybe like a business or something like that. But yeah, my main thing is just to have a community of Bayern fans, which we do. Grow that community and have, I want to be the biggest fan channel on YouTube. There's other channels out there that do content on Bayern, but they're not, and I'm not dissing anyone. But they're not a Bayern fan channel. I want to give the Bayern fans a chance to have their opinion. With Zia and with Lewis when he comes on the channel, and other people as well, like Hunter and Bob and so on and so forth. I will always give a voice for someone to come on, because that was the whole point of starting the channel. You know what I mean? Because when I wanted to talk about Bayern, I could talk to Taylor about it, but he didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, with all due respect, he didn't care because it's not Man United. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, he wants to talk about Premier League and he wants to talk about this and that. And like, I talked to him and he, you know, he wasn't like, oh, I don't fucking care. But it was more like, you know, we didn't have that in common because we're not, you know, supporting the same team. Does that make sense? Which we can still talk. We're still good friends. I'm not trying to, you know, put it in that sense, but you get my point. But yeah, man, that basically is that. You know, goals I want to do. I want to hit 10k. I want to hit 100k because I want that YouTube plaque. That's probably never going to come, to be honest. You know, maybe one day. I don't know. But yeah, man, I don't know. I just want my little one to be proud of me. That's all I really care about, to be honest with you. I've never really opened up like this on YouTube. To be fair, at the time of recording this, it hasn't gone live. It will go live. I will put this up live. I won't edit any of this. It will go up as it is. The only thing I'm going to edit is put the intro on it, and yeah, whatever. So yeah, man. But yeah, I'm definitely struggling. Don't get it twisted. I'm not a perfect human. Nowhere near. But I'm me, man. I'm me, and at the end of the day, that is just what it is. So yeah, love me, hate me, whatever the case be, I will always be me. You know, there is no act. This isn't an act. That's not how I work. You know, and Lewis, Gio, Taylor's known me for 15 plus years. My missus, everybody that knows me, can tell you right now this ain't an act. You know what I mean? And you know, this is me. You know what I mean? This generally is me. So yeah, man, again, like me, hate me, whatever the thing might be, this is me, man. So hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Again, some people will like me, some people will hate me, whatever. And yeah, man, there's that. So yeah, but like, yeah, just the thought of having a channel that's got 5,000 subscribers on it is bonkers to me. You know, I'm an introvert, so if I was to have 100 people in this room with me right now, I wouldn't be shitting myself. I'll stand on game. Don't get it twisted. But at the same time, it's more like a, yeah, I don't like it. And I'm very claustrophobic as well. Like I remember when I was younger, actually before getting with the missus, I remember we went to me and friends and so on went to the city centre because they were going to turn on the Christmas lights. They do that normally at Christmas. It used to be a thing when I was a kid, but it's not really anymore. They just turn them on. But it used to be this big thing, like, you know, they'd get people from like shows and celebrities and so on to come turn the lights on. It was a big thing. They still do it around certain cities, but they don't really do it in my city anymore. But I remember it. Yeah, I remember being surrounded by loads of families, and I was like, yeah, I got to get out of here. I fucking jumped over a car. I was like, yeah, just get me the fuck away from all these people. I just can't. I think thing with me as well is it's trust. I don't trust anyone. I'm definitely someone that's like keep myself to myself. I've got a very small circle. I always will have a very small circle, but like, yeah, for me it's like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's the worry. I don't know. But yeah, like, yeah, to have 5,000 people click that subscribe button to me, and I know there's probably some people that have got multiple accounts, but it's just bonkers to me. Like, just absolutely bonkers. You know what I mean? And sometimes I sit up at night on my phone, and I've got the YouTube, can't speak English, the YouTube Studio app, and I just look at the number, and I refresh it, and I just keep refreshing, and I'm like, how the fudge have I got 5,000 people? You know what I mean? Like, bro, I'd have a fucking heart attack if there was 100 people in front of me, let alone, you know, the rest. So, but yeah, man, hopefully I've done a good job. I know I'm probably stumbling. I don't really know what else to say. I don't really know what else people want to know about me, which I'm comfortable with saying. But yeah, I'm a massive gamer. I love gaming. I play most games. I'm a massive family man. I love my family to death, of course. I don't speak to some of my family now because of bullshit and so on, but yeah, man, I miss them. But yeah, just the bullshit. It's just whatever. You just can't go back on bullshit. So, hey, it is what it is. But it is what it is, man. So yeah, man, I'm just striving to be the biggest Bayern Munich channel on YouTube. That's my plan, and that's the goal, to be honest with you. And have fun on the way, and hopefully Bayern can win trophies. You can see me happy, you can see me sad, you can see me angry, you can see me freaking over the moon because we won the Champions League. I so wish I was doing YouTube when we won the Champions League and when we won the sextuple, because I was obviously watching, as in watching the thing. I remember actually watching some watch-alongs. I remember clicking on watch-alongs and watching through those like the couple of days after we won the Champions League. Watching people watch because obviously I didn't have a channel then. So watching, people watch my team and, oh, they're so good. But yeah, man, I'm rambling. I don't really know what to say, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm probably going to end because I don't really know what else to say. Again, let me go on this post quickly. Is there anything else? I am planning, actually, I know what to talk about. I am planning with this show to have it every week, every single Sunday, 6 p.m. UK time. It will be here. And yeah, man, there'll be guests, so I'll have someone to bounce off, with questions and talking and chatting and so on and so forth. I'll try and keep it as football related as possible, but maybe we will talk about some other things. But yeah, man, that's basically the plan for the show. Hopefully you have enjoyed. Hopefully you've got to know me a little bit better. I know I've definitely shared a lot on this piece here, which I don't normally talk about and I don't like to talk about. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It is what it is. So yeah, man. I thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, I guess. Check out the second channel, TBV Sports. Hopefully you have enjoyed this episode. For me personally, I'm very self-critical as well. I don't think this has been very good, but hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. And yeah, the other ones will be better in my opinion because I'll be bouncing questions and I'll be the interviewer, I guess. So yeah, man, hopefully you have enjoyed. I don't really have much else to say, to be honest with you. Big love to you guys. Smash likes, hit the subscribe button. Stay safe. Please, please, please keep your mental health in check. If you have to go out for a walk, go out for a walk. If you have to listen to music. Talk to someone, man. Please. And this is coming from someone else that bottles it up. Please talk to someone. No matter what you are. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. I know it's mostly in men, but, there are women that are down as well. So, yeah, man, talk to someone, whoever it is, and there's helplines out there as well and so on. So yeah, man, but bless up to everybody. Hopefully you have enjoyed this episode of the TBV show. I don't want it to get dark, so yeah, bless up, peace. I don't really have anything else to say. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, guys.